All right, here we are. June 20th, 2020. Here's my tour of the garden. Let's start off with some harvest, obvious harvest. Got our zucchini, tomatoes, some bush beans. Had a whole bunch of pole beans that we already used last night. Had some various lettuce for some salad later and some sandwiches during the week. Check this baby out though. Huge tomato. I'm very happy. Little golden cherries, some yellow pear tomatoes. I'll let the cucumbers go a little too far. We'll do something with them. And of course, tons of zucchini. But let's get to the garden. This tomato plant is doing good. Lots and lots of tomatoes. Just starting to turn. What I did different this month, I started a couple weeks ago, I spread everything out. Instead of tomato plants together, pepper plants together, onion plants, they're all scattered. Onions, you know. So they're not really next to each other. Hopefully that will help with pest and disease. Everything is doing much better than last month. Everything's getting nice and big. Some of the peppers still lagging, but they're doing all right. Look at these serranos, huge. Just waiting for them to ripen up. Some more tomatoes. Lots and lots of green tomatoes. It's the Santa Fe Grand. Just waiting for these to turn. I believe they're a type of hot pepper. We'll see. But this one's very productive. Look at all these peppers. And of course the onions. Still waiting for those. They're getting a little bit bigger. I don't know if these will get that big since I bought sets instead of starters. We'll see. More tomatoes. Now some of these are some smaller tomato plants. Others are bigger. This one has been such a disappointment. It was so huge, so big. And if you can see, purple, brown, it's just not doing well. No production at all. It's probably a loss. My bean plants are still doing well. That's where all the bush beans come from, various tomato plants. Of course, all the lilies are long gone. Well, not long gone, but a couple weeks now. It's more tomatoes. This one's a little bush variety, but as you can see, it's doing pretty good production-wise, and with lots of beans. Let's see if we can see. There we go. There's some beans hanging there. Picked a bunch of them yesterday. That's what we saw earlier in the video. My purple jalapenos hanging in there. There's one right there. It's hard to see against the black. Still having some issues with my raised bed where the peppers are. Although I got a nice little bell, but the plants are so tiny. I'm working on it. They're hanging in there. We are getting some activity. Cucumbers, not too bad. That's what all this is. That big orange one that I harvested was in the middle. I didn't even know it was in there. I'll save that for some seeds, actually. Now the tomatoes in the raised bed are hit and miss. 4 of them are pretty good. 2 of them in the middle, not too well. They're growing a little bit of that purple stuff like the plant I just showed you, but no flowers, no fruit. Now this plant, look at this. It's taller than me. This is doing good though. This is how I expected everything to be past the top of all the cages. And that's the only one. But it's doing well. We have some tomatoes. Look at this big sucker just waiting to turn. Some more. This one's not bad. It's only about half as tall. Not sure why, but we got tomatoes. Not too bad. Some more beans down here. This one on this side just never really did much. Again, a little bit of the purple. No production whatsoever, just kind of stopped doing anything. But this is that big red one I showed you earlier, harvested. Look at these green ones in here. My goodness, this is huge. Very productive, very beautiful. Another big one down there. So this is doing very well. Not quite to the top, but that's okay. We'll see. Just huge, huge tomatoes. This one's doing well. It's getting up there in height. There are some flowers that hopefully will turn into tomatoes. There's some more. One little tiny tomato in there. So anyway, we got 4 nice ones that are doing well, so I'm pretty happy. Basically, I'll continue to build soil into these beds. I got some compost. I just put out a little bit today in everything. Some of the beds and some of the pots. And here's our little yellow pear. Little tiny ones. Pear-shaped yellow. Plant's a little trippy. Really tiny leaves. But it's producing. That's all I care. There's lots of green tomatoes. Lots of them have been turning. This should be a very high productive plant if everything keeps going well. Getting lots more onions. Onions are doing pretty good. Some of them are reaching baseball size. So it's not too bad. Of course, the green tops are always delicious. This plant's doing much better. It's my habanero lightning mix. Should be multicolored. Little flower right in there. That'll turn into a pepper. Some more here and there. Again, doing well. Here's my cherry gold. Little cherries, gold colored. These are great, very productive. Little bit of a blight going on. I've been trimming it up, trying to keep it going. Another plant that should be very productive. Cherries, little pears, they just go like crazy. So I should be getting lots. Here's that jalapeno plant that I pointed out last month. It's doing really well. Actually doing awesome. Look at these peppers in there, just waiting for them to turn orange. Look at these suckers, a whole bunch of them. And of course you can hear Asti screaming. And a little close up in some of the onions. Not too bad, they'll be tasty all the same. Here's my Roma tomatoes. Little Romas starting to get ripe already. I have a few in my little harvest area over there. Of course, more beans throughout the tomato plants. All the potted plants of tomatoes have beans in them. Seem to be doing well. Okay, this is the biggest onion probably. Definitely close to a baseball. Getting nice. What I did is called spooning. I ran around today and cleaned them all up. And then you just kind of help them out around all the onions. Give the bulb a little bit of room to hopefully grow some more. It's kind of like that. Just, you don't want to go too deep, but Anyway, doing very good. Very happy with everything so far. Of course, you're always going to have some plants that don't do well, others that do, some halfway in between, and that's okay. Zucchini's doing really nice. There you can see, down in there is a nice big one. I'll cut that when I'm done with the video. All the plants, zucchini plants, are doing well. Cauliflower in the very back, nothing developed yet, but a nice big plant. I'm sure something will come of it. And let's take a look at some more zucchini. There's one down there, looking nice, looking nice. Some little ones growing with the flower on it still. There's one down there. And we got some more growing, look at that. So they're everywhere, always tons of zucchini. Corn's doing pretty darn good. Look at these ears. A little bit of the purple, which I believe is a sugar thing going on. Hopefully they're developing fully, maybe not, but they'll be usable, I'm sure. Lots of ears everywhere. Now with the purple on this one, there's no ears at all. So what happens is the sugar in the plant has nowhere to go, which usually goes into the ear, and you start to see it in the plant. It may also be a watering issue, all sorts of things, nutrients, but everything's hanging in there. Nice ear, everything's developing pretty good. Again, some of these purple, a little concerned. It's missing some areas up here, but the bottom part should be developed. And I did harvest a lot of the pole beans from here. You can see it's literally climbing up the corn. All this is pole beans, climbs right up it. It's a vining action. Doing really well. Lots of ears, great. And we have some sunflowers in here. I keep forgetting to mention, but there are sunflowers in between all here, and they will grow up. The pole beans will grow up those as well. And we got the huge one right in the middle. Look at this, it's taller than me. Look at this head. Oh, just waiting to burst open with the flower. Well above, here's the top of the cage. We back up here. Look at that thing just towering over it. Everything is doing well. Like I said, my compost is just about done. So I'm using a little bit and put some in all the zucchinis and of course the various beds and containers. So that is about it for the garden. Oh, you know what? Nothing to really see back here, but I did plant some more corn back in this area, along with some fresh compost mixed in. So let's see what that does in next month's video. Hopefully we see something growing there, and we should be harvesting some of this corn pretty soon. Very happy with my three sisters experiment back here. Corn, pole beans, actually four sisters if you include the sunflowers. And speaking of sunflowers, my little patch of wildflowers plus sunflowers planted in here. It's about I don't know, 7 feet long. Just a little border along the fence here. Again, waiting for these flowers, nice buds. All of these white flowers, more sunflowers, some smaller ones. Not sure what these are, but they're really cool. I'm sure the bees and everything enjoy it. And some, interesting other types of flowers. Some of these purple ones here. But all these sunflowers are doing great, as long as the gopher doesn't get them. We'll see. Finally getting a little bit of the irises coming up. Not sure why my plants haven't been doing too much. Irises around the neighborhood are doing great. Anyway, everything's looking good. Look how tall that one is. Very nice. Lots more onions, just waiting for them to go. Here's some jalapenos. Very good. Just like to get them ripe. They'll turn a nice red. This is an interesting jalapeno. They start out yellow, then they'll, I believe, will turn red as well. You want to eat these things ripe if you can, but they're good green. Definitely hot. Strawberries doing pretty good. Picked a couple yesterday. Little tiny thing right there. Looking nice though. And that is it for June's tour. Definitely tomato time, pepper time, and soon to be onion time. Gonna be making some homegrown salsa. Only thing I need is cilantro, and it's a little too hot for that. But anyway, we will see you in June. Bye-bye.